Will it not be an understatement to say that Nigeria's festering insecurity has become a national shame, if not an international embarrassment? The fact is that more than shame and embarrassment, Nigeria's insecurity has become the burden of its ordinary poor population. The burden is taking its toll in the lives of ordinary community members in Plateau, Benue, Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, and Niger states, wasted on daily basis.
I learned that there are over 30 fighters. They call them bandits. They call them terrorists in Zamfara state alone. Then I began to ask myself, if you have 30 fighters that carry guns, whether you call them Fulani herdsmen, whether you call them bandits, whether you call them any kind of, and there are, yes, 30,000 fighters. If you have 30,000 fighters in Zamfara alone, then you begin to wonder, how many fighters do you have in Katsina, in Borno State, in Sokoto State, and things of that nature?
The doubtful position of Western media, the United Nations, and those who cared to reference their argument is that these killings arise from climate change induced migrations that cause conflicts between herders and crop farmers. This line of argument wobbles in the face of the fact that the Plateau State crisis began with the bombing of Jos Main Market, the most modern market in northern Nigeria in 2001. That was unlikely to be herders farmers clash, climate change induced conflict, and since then, the killing, burning of entire communities in Plateau State has not stopped. There are those who have analyzed the situation as a passing phase in Nigeria's development journey. Mention of population and cultures naturally bring about conflicts and deaths as sacrifices towards the emergence of a uniform, harmonized societal culture. So it is a development phase.
We do not have a leader that we can run to. And so no blood. When we talk about the blood of these people, have we have a blood of Mr. President shed in the name of having a better society? If we are to talk about any blood that should be shed for better society, it should be the blood of our leaders. Do we have the blood of their children that are schooling abroad, shed for the better society we're talking about?
The irony, however, is that just in 1 week in Basa district and Bokos of Plateau State, a micromanaged number of 110 people were killed by a herd of AK-47 wielding invaders who had no known conflicts with the communities. The pattern is the same. In the dead of the night, while community members sleep, invaders in their hundreds, carrying flaming torches or other inflammable materials, descend on homesteads, setting them on fire, and those of them carrying sophisticated rifle gun down anybody trying to escape. Each round of invasion and killings bring about unconvincing reaction from both the federal and state governments, as if there is a conspiracy to sacrifice poor Nigerians.
We have great leaders that fought for our independence. That should amount to a better society. What we are having today is corrupt leaders. Why we are here today is because of the corruption in our system, the corruption in our institutions. And that is why you see somebody like Mr. President will still sit in power and have a Senate president talk to Nigerians that while you are protesting, we will be eating. That is a statement that in the same society, such a leader should not appear even in the corridor of power.
Under the Buhari government, which seems to have ignored insecurity, if not endorsed it, the president told the Plateau State government to go back and make peace with their neighbors. With the recent killings in Plateau State, the federal government has also told the Plateau State government to seek accommodation with its neighbors. All these are a euphemism for ceding land to the Fulani herder population. But should it be the way out in modern Nigeria?
It is failure on the part of the government to bring justice to the innocent people. And that is why an innocent farmer will choose to defend himself, and instead of prioritizing his safety and the properties that he so much care for, he would rather be jailed for speaking out or for protecting his farmlands.
If Plateau and Benue are matters of access to land, what is happening in Katsina, Niger, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Enugu? There is the temptation to reason that the Nigerian government has not placed its fingers on the source of the challenge of insecurity, that is not a scourge for the nation, it is just climate change. Is it an ethnic expansion agenda which is not feasible in modern Nigeria, even with 1 million deaths? Is there an external dimension to it all, stoking the crisis to divert vital resources to development, to pursuing the problem of insecurity?
Now, who are the herdsmen in Benue State? It is the elite. Who are the people killing the people? It is the government. Because the government who has failed to identify the problems is the problem. Some of the traditional rulers are the problems. They have cattle. They are the one that imported the herdsmen to come and take care of their cattle. They tell you that they have killed cattle. Some of the traditional rulers are even, and the elite that owns these cattle are the one that are even empowering these herders. How do herders know about the purchase of AK-47? How do elders begin to know about kidnapping? These are not the traditional lifestyles of elders.
The questions for going become realistic following the spreading nature of Nigeria's insecurity. Just last Tuesday, in New Karu area of Karu local government area of Nasarawa State, a young family was attacked around 11 o'clock in the night. The attackers were kidnappers who could not gain access through the well-built gate to the premises. They broke the wall down, shut and destroyed the windows because the house had security doors. While they shot to destroy the windows, the man of the house escaped to alert the vigilante office and the police. Nobody responded until over 1 hour after the kidnappers took the man's 2 children. They left the wife because she was heavy with pregnancy. By Friday, the kidnappers had contacted the man for ransom. He paid and his children were released to him. He said to 360 Nigeria, government does not protect the poor, only God protects.
So the military works under very stringent, unfortunately, very stringent conditions. You deploy somebody to an operational area. The basic thing is 6 months, then you redeploy. But we are overwhelmed. A lot of work has to be done. And now, when you now remove him after 6 months, there's a problem somewhere else. You redeploy the person. Now there is this issue of doing a kind of training. You are recruiting 1,000 every year. Now, while that is good on its part, now training for the military, it took me 5 years in NDA, and since I've been going for training for over 20 years, different training, the training has to be holistic. So we now say, okay, I recruit somebody for 6 months, I take him to the war front. It is not holistic. So that is why there are gaps, there are challenges.
There are worries that Nigeria's political elite, for whose security government makes it a main concern, is the very group creating the nation's security challenge. So they are protected to keep them safe, to then spread insecurity in the country. In other words, the blood of the innocent spilled in Plateau State, the families left distraught in Benue State, and communities in Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, Anambra, and Edo are all in pursuit of power. If this is true, what manner of power elite does Nigeria have?
We have not seen enough actions of the government, so terrorists and criminal elements have been emboldened to take more guns.
Former Nigerian Chief of Army Staff and Defense Minister, retired General T.Y. Danjuma, says he can bet his remaining breath that the Nigerian security personnel are part of those spreading death across the country. He has called on Nigerians to rise, arm, and defend themselves. As some people have called Danjuma's solution a recipe for violence, as if violence is not just abroad. The Director General of the Directorate of State Services, DSS, Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi, has recommended a final solution to Nigeria's insecurity.
Our culture is communal. We do things together, festival together, ceremonies together, wedding ceremony, whatever. So why can't we fight some miscreants, some charlatans among us together? The community should say, you cannot come here. This is what Tafawa Balewa has done. If you go to that community to attack them, you'll be sorry for yourself. I challenge anybody to try it. And this is the way we have to do. We have to allow some level of armament for the communities, and they can serve as the first line of defense.
The current insecurity challenge which Nigeria is facing seems to be making sense of the argument that if the ordinary Nigerians cannot get a leadership they need and want through the ballot box because the political elite has captured, if not kidnapped, the process, then they need to try other means. That other means? Don't ask me.